A few years ago, a friend of mine was trying to sell his property. And this is what I would call in Silicon Valley as a slightly upscale property, something that perhaps is beyond the reach of most of the buyers. And then they finally sold it after 6 months or 9 months. They had to do a lot of upgrades and the property sold. And we were talking about how the experience was. And this person told me that all the bidders were not from United States. They were all from outside of the country. This is just a house in Silicon Valley, and this just gives you a sample of how much outside country people covet real estate in the United States. Now there is a huge problem brewing. China appears to have bought substantial amounts of land in United States and in some sensitive locations which are very close to United States defense locations. So now the American public is waking up, especially the lawmakers, and some states are passing laws that prohibit Chinese, especially from buying land. But this should not be just one person. There is a bigger problem here, and we'll go through that, and you will see for yourself how China is trying to completely destroy United States from within. That's what I would like to say. That's how I see it. I don't look at one point to say, okay, this is this thing, and if you stop this, everything is going to go away. So if you don't, allow Chinese to buy land from mainland China, they'll move their assets to Singapore and buy from Singapore or from some other place, even Spain, even Panama, or even Mexico or Canada. See, what has happened is the rot has set across the world. And unless countries combine together to stop this thing, this is going to continue. I have a small slide deck to share with you on how United States is trying to stop this, and you can take a look at it and watch till the very end because lots of details are coming out, and I'm really concerned as to the direction in which the United States is headed. Here we go. As always, a request to all of you to please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do so. Real estate diplomacy. They have wolf diplomacy. They also have real estate diplomacy. Now, the interesting thing is China does not allow foreign individuals and entities, including Americans, from owning land outright. Anything that you buy for your own operations, they'll only give you a lease. Typically, it's like a 99-year lease. This is something like how the British had a 99-year lease on Hong Kong. By the way, there is one state in the United States, Hawaii, that no longer sells land. You have to get it only on a 99-year lease. Anybody who wants to buy property in Hawaii, it's only 99-year lease. This started, I think they passed this law, I think a decade or two ago. I don't remember the exact date, but that is the truth. Now you cannot anymore own land in Hawaii. And let's get back to China. The land ownership in China is structured in such a way that it's either state-owned or collectively owned by rural collectives. This is the cooperative system that has been there since the early communism days. Foreign investors cannot outright purchase land. Instead, they can lease land for specific purposes and duration. See, they are not even giving you a general 99-year window also. They are saying, how long do you want it? And this leasing arrangement grants them land use rights for a defined period rather than for a wide period like 99 years. The opposite is what happens in the United States. The United States allows foreign individuals and companies, including Chinese entities, to purchase agricultural land, sometimes even near military installations. I told you it's not just agricultural land. You go in the valley, Silicon Valley areas like areas in New York, Boston, Seattle, Oregon, many of the big cities. You go to any of the malls, small, medium, large, doesn't matter. Find out the real owner. You'll be in for a surprise. It's a very pervasive habit. This is spread widely, and this is just what we know. I mean, if you go a little bit deeper, it will be a maze of shell corporations that are hiding the real owner. My guess is that this is a huge problem. The Fufeng Group case in North Dakota in 2022, where a Chinese company sought to build a corn mill near Grand Forks Air Force Base, was blocked due to national security concern. The case revealed loopholes in the Treasury Department's Committee on Foreign Investment in the US, CFIUS, which failed to cover unlisted but strategically sensitive areas. So here is a map of the sensitive places where Chinese have bought farmland. So you can see from left to right about at least 15 or 20 places. You have the Oahu, Hawaii military bases in Hawaii, Camp Pendleton, this is in California, Fort Irwin, I think it's also in California. I could be wrong about it. Fort Lewis in Washington State, Dugway Proving Ground. You get the thing from left to right, right? So all these places, the land around that, some part of it, Chinese have bought it. What is the number? Well, the entities have over 380,000 acres of US agricultural land, according to US Department of Agriculture data, USDA. I think this is still not the fully representative number. It may be difficult to establish ownership of some of these huge swaths of land. I would not be surprised if it is much, much more than that. So what is known right now? The leading US states are Texas with 123,700 acres, North Carolina with 44,300 acres, Missouri with 42,900 acres, Utah is 33,000 acres, and Florida with 12,800 acres. The interesting thing about Texas, why is that high? I'll give you a clue. It has a very long border with Mexico. Now, what are the top entities? Company called Smithfield Groups, owned by China's WH Group, held close to 85,000 acres following divestment from 265,000 acres. Syngenta Seeds, among other Chinese-controlled agribusinesses active in the United States farmland. Sun Guangxin, a Chinese billionaire who owns large tracts of land in Texas. So some states are beginning to crack down now, and I'll tell you about the states and the individual efforts by these states. If the Trump administration passes a law for the entire country, could that still be bent around at the state level? My guess is it has to be you have to wait and watch what happens. Even though the Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, or the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, or Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, said this thing in a joint press conference, I'm not 100% sure that you can get around these things at the state level. It's possible. Planned actions include enacting executive orders and forming legislative partnerships with US states. See, I told you, you need to get the states along. Increasing federal scrutiny of existing farmland owned by Chinese, Russian, and Iranian entities. See, the thing is spread. I would also add India and some of the other countries who have stashed their money also in the United States. And they may not be buying at military installations, but certainly there are entities, there are politicians from India who have large swaths of land, allegedly, in the United States. I don't have to tell you some of the names. If you read PGurus.com, you know the names that we have mentioned in the past. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth declared that the Pentagon will block the sale of farmland to foreign adversaries near US military bases and emphasize the need to protect the military food supply, especially in a contingency. Is there going to be something from within US? Is there going to be a civil war? That's something that is beginning to occupy some of the space in social media. That is the United States headed for a civil war? Because the Democrats and Republicans don't appear to be able to communicate with each other. China is known to employ a multifaceted strategy that blends with economic coercion, such as rare earth export controls, we know that, and Belt and Road loans, with espionage through consulates, students, or front companies, technology transfer via both legal and illegal means, and gray zone warfare tactics like cyber attacks and influence operations. Meanwhile, US openness in the name of free markets has allowed strategic vulnerabilities to grow. Now, let's take a look at what states have done something about it. Some states, like Texas, Florida, and North Dakota, are now banning or restricting land purchases by entities linked to China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. The latest plan reinforces Trump's 2020 and 2024 campaign promise to halt Chinese land acquisitions and tighten national security protection. For the longest time, the United States didn't mind money coming in by way of investment. They didn't look at it very, very closely. But now I think they are beginning to, because the people who are bringing the money in have some other, it's not just an investment vehicle, it is something else, and that something else needs to be taken head on. while the action can be implemented through an executive authority, a total ban or mass clawbacks would require congressional legislation. Hence, this policy is currently rated in the works. So, still a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of ground to cover, and this is just a quick summary of where things stand today. Things could improve, things could get worse. We haven't looked at the ownership in California. I think California will also surprise you. It's probably on the same levels as Texas, and that tells you the amount of power they wield. In fact, we have covered how many scandals where this alleged Chinese spies have taken over many offices of politicians in California as well as in the state of New York. So stay tuned. We'll give you more information. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.